Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into a world where an iconic white mask and a relentless silent presence aren't just terrifying, they define fear itself. We're talking, of course, about Michael Myers, The Shape. But have you ever wondered what happens when that very embodiment of horror seemingly vanishes?
Right.
What happens when a hugely popular, character-driven franchise takes a radical detour, only to then completely reverse course and drag its most infamous boogeyman screaming back into the spotlight?
It's more than just a fascinating question, isn't it? I mean, in the vast, sprawling landscape of horror, few characters cast a shadow as long or as chilling as Michael Myers.
Definitely.
And for a series that was fundamentally built around his singular, malevolent presence, attempting to pivot away from that core identity was not just a gamble, it was like an artistic and commercial tightrope walk.
Oh, yeah.
The kind that could easily spell disaster for an established brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we're about to unpack, that audacious gamble and its subsequent fallout led directly to one of the most pivotal and, for a long time, deeply misunderstood entries in the entire Halloween saga. So today, you and I are taking a deep dive into the 1988 film Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This isn't merely another slasher film in a long, winding series. It's a foundational moment, a true reemergence of a horror legend after a unique and, let's be honest, pretty controversial detour that left many fans scratching their heads.
Precisely. And to guide us through this intricate chapter, we've compiled a comprehensive set of sources. These sources detail everything from the film's unexpected origins and its surprisingly complex production struggles. Right down to its eclectic cast and its remarkably complicated, often contradictory reception over the decades. It's a treasure trove of insights into a film that many initially dismissed, but which has steadily carved out a significant place in horror history.
Our mission today, then, is clear. We're going to thoroughly unpack why this film was made in the first place, tracing the urgent necessity that drove its production. We'll explore the absolutely fascinating and often chaotic behind-the-scenes challenges it faced, revealing the unexpected hurdles and creative solutions that shaped the final product.
You bet.
We'll then examine how it was initially received by both critics and the eager audiences upon its release, and perhaps most interestingly, why, decades later, it's undergoing a surprising and, frankly, well-deserved reappraisal that has changed its standing in the franchise.
It really has.
You're going to gain a truly thorough understanding of this crucial chapter in the Halloween saga, uncovering details and perspectives that might surprise even longtime fans. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
To truly grasp the urgency behind Halloween 4, we have to rewind a bit, back to the unexpected and, for many, unwelcome detour the franchise took after Halloween the 2nd.
Right, Halloween the 3rd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy for newer fans, or even those who just skim the surface of horror history, to forget that John Carpenter and his co-producer Debra Hill actually had a very different vision for the Halloween series after the first two films.
They did. Their original intention was for it to be an anthology.
Yeah.
Imagine a horror equivalent of The Twilight Zone or Tales from the Crypt, where each film would tell a completely new, unrelated story, with only the first two being directly connected.
That was Carpenter and Hill's bold artistic vision, and it's precisely what led to Halloween the 3rd, Season of the Witch.
Right. They genuinely wanted to broaden the scope of horror, moving beyond just Michael Myers, to explore different avenues of fear specifically tied to the Halloween holiday itself.
A conscious effort to escape the burgeoning slasher formula that was quickly saturating the market.
Absolutely.
And while Halloween the 3rd has, over the years, undeniably cultivated its own passionate cult, following a deserved one, in my opinion, for its unique creativity.
Oh, definitely. It's got its fans now.
But upon its initial release, audiences reacted with a near-universal cry of, "Where's Michael?"
Yeah, that was the big one.
The overwhelming sentiment was captured perfectly by producer Paul Freeman, a close associate of executive producer Mustafa Akkad, in a revealing 1988 interview with Fangoria magazine. He directly quoted the audience saying, "Everybody came out of Halloween the 3rd saying, 'Where's Michael?'"
That single quote, more than any critical review, just encapsulates the audience's profound disappointment.
It really does.
And their undeniable desire to see their favorite masked killer return. This visceral reaction from the fan base directly and forcefully spurred the decision to bring Michael Myers back, almost as a matter of, franchise survival.
It's a powerful illustration of the unbreakable bond audiences form with truly iconic characters, isn't it?
It really is. Even if the original creators had a grander, more diverse artistic direction in mind, the sheer gravitational pull of Michael Myers was simply too immense to disregard.
Too big to ignore.
Yeah. This intense audience demand immediately created a significant creative clash behind the scenes, particularly for John Carpenter and Debra Hill. Carpenter, still involved in the early stages, even approached a highly regarded director like Joe Dante.
Joe Dante, wow.
Known for his unique blend of horror, humor, and social commentary in films like Gremlins, to potentially direct what would eventually become Halloween 4.
That alone tells you the kind of creative talent they were initially aiming for.
Which, honestly, is pretty wild to imagine. A Joe Dante-helmed Halloween film.
What a different direction that could have taken.
Totally. But as you alluded to, the early development process was, to put it mildly, fraught with tension and disagreements. Carpenter and Hill were initially involved, as you mentioned, and they brought in Dennis Etchison to pen the script for Halloween 4.
And he knew the franchise, right? He did the novelizations.
Exactly. He wrote the novelizations for both Halloween the 2nd and Halloween the 3rd, so he understood the lore intimately. But here's where it gets really interesting, and where that creative clash became undeniable. His original concept for Halloween 4 wasn't a conventional slasher film at all.
What was it?
It was envisioned as a ghost story, with Michael Myers manifesting as a spectral entity.
Whoa. A ghost, Michael?
A truly radical departure, even for a franchise that had already tried the anthology route. And it was a departure that executive producer Mustafa Akkad simply could not and would not accept.
Akkad.
Akkad famously and quite definitively rejected Etchison's script, labeling it too cerebral for the Halloween brand he envisioned.
Too cerebral. Chuckles.
His insistence was crystal clear, almost a non-negotiable mandate. Any new Halloween sequel must feature Myers as a flesh and blood killer.
Back to basics.
He was adamant about bringing back the tangible, terrifying physical presence that had made the first two films such commercial and critical successes. For Akkad, the supernatural element risked diluting the visceral fear.
And this wasn't just a simple script rejection. It signaled a profound and permanent shift in control over the entire franchise.
Huge.
Dennis Etchison himself recounted the sobering phone call from Debra Hill, where she delivered the news that marked the end of an era. She told him, and it's a poignant quote, "Dennis, I just wanted you to know that John and I have sold our interest in the title Halloween, and unfortunately, your script was not part of the deal."
Oof. That's a monumental moment in franchise history, effectively transferring full creative and financial ownership to Akkad.
Yeah, ensuring that his vision, and his vision alone, would guide the series moving forward.
And Akkad's justification for this unyielding stance and for acquiring the rights so decisively was quite direct and, from a business perspective, entirely pragmatic. He later stated, "I just went back to the basics of Halloween on Halloween 4, and it was the most successful."
Can't argue with the box office, I suppose.
For him, the financial and popular success of the first two films was inextricably linked to Michael Myers as a concrete, terrifying force of nature, a palpable threat. With Carpenter and Hill officially stepping away, a new director was needed to bring Akkad's singular vision to life, someone who could deliver the flesh and blood killer he so desperately wanted.
And that director was Dwight H. Little, an Ohio native who ultimately stepped in to replace Carpenter's long shadow.
Right.
Little was far from a novice in the genre. He had previously directed multiple episodes of the horror anthology series Freddy's Nightmares.
So he knew the ropes of franchise horror.
Exactly. Giving him valuable experience not only with horror, but also with working within established horror franchises and their specific demands. This made him a fitting, if unexpected, choice to helm the much-anticipated return of Michael Myers.
His previous work indicated an understanding of how to deliver scares within a predefined universe, a crucial skill for Halloween 4.
Okay, so with Akkad's mandate, Michael Myers must return as a flesh and blood killer. No ghosts allowed. The next monumental challenge was actually crafting a script that could deliver on that promise, and quickly.
And this is where the production faced an absolutely breathtakingly tight deadline.
You're not kidding.
It was a truly daunting, almost impossible task.
Yeah.
Writer Alan B. McElroy, who, like director Little, is also a Cleveland, Ohio native.
Ohio kind of.
Yeah. He was brought in on February 25, 1988 to pen the screenplay. The looming threat, casting a very real shadow over the entire production, was an impending writer's strike. set to begin just under 2 weeks later on March 7, 1988.
Under 2 weeks.
This meant McElroy had to develop the entire concept, pitch the story to the producers, and submit his final draft, a full feature film screenplay, in under 11 days.
11 days. That's insane.
That's an astonishing, almost unheard of turnaround time for a script of this magnitude, especially one tasked with resurrecting such an iconic and beloved character. It truly speaks to the pressures of Hollywood.
Unbelievable pressure. I can't imagine trying to craft a coherent narrative under those circumstances.
Me neither.
But McElroy, to his immense credit, clearly relished the opportunity, not viewing it as a burden, but as a privilege. He told Fangoria that when director Dwight Little asked him to write the script, he jumped at the chance.
Wow.
He specifically stated, and this really captures his passion, "Here I was going to bring the shape Michael Myers back to life. It's a piece of film history. He's truly an icon."
That personal connection and genuine enthusiasm for the character, a desire to do justice to the legend, definitely permeates the final product. It injects it with a much-needed sense of reverence.
I think so, too. And out of that incredibly rushed, high-pressure process came the very core of Halloween 4's new mythology, a clever way to recenter the narrative on Michael.
Right, the new protagonist.
McElroy conceived of a young girl initially named Britty Lloyd, who would later be renamed Jamie.
Jamie, yeah. Which was a direct, heartfelt homage to Laurie Strode actress Jamie Lee Curtis, even though Curtis wasn't returning.
Nice touch.
It cleverly established a clear, new familial link for Michael Myers to pursue, giving him a renewed, chilling purpose that resonated with the original film's familial horror.
And to make logical room for Jamie in the narrative, the original heroine, Laurie Strode, had to be written out of the story.
Yeah, that was a big move.
Her fate is briefly, and somewhat tragically, explained in the film as having died in a car crash, which necessitated Jamie's introduction with the Carruthers family, including her foster sister Rachel.
Mm.
So while the familiar, idyllic-turned-terrifying setting of Haddonfield, Illinois, was still very much there, the core family dynamic at its heart had shifted, giving Michael a fresh target for his relentless evil.
Now, when it came to the director's vision for how Michael Myers should operate within McElroy's screenplay, Dwight H. Little had a very specific, almost grounded interpretation.
How so?
In a 2006 interview, Little stated that he approached Myers not as a supernatural, unkillable figure, but rather as a literal escaped mental patient.
Interesting. Less boogeyman, more human.
Sort of. He viewed Myers as pursuing Jamie as a means of connecting with her. A twisted, deeply damaged attempt at familial interaction, but one that inevitably resorted to violence due to Myers having no social capacity to interact with her.
Wow, that raises an important question. Does this interpretation, grounding Michael in a psychological reality rather than pure, unexplained evil, change how we view him?
Right. Does it make him more terrifying as a broken human, or does it diminish the primal, mystical dread that made him so effective in the first place?
For some, it might make him more relatable and thus more disturbing as a deeply broken human being. For others, it might remove that unknowable, almost mythological quality.
Yeah, that's the debate.
That's a great point. It certainly offers a different lens through which to see his actions, perhaps making his pathology more humanly disturbing than supernaturally evil. What's also a really neat, subtle detail that ensured direct continuity with Halloween II
Crucial after Halloween the 3rd.
is the screenplay's inclusion of burn scars. These are visible on both Myers and Dr. Loomis, serving as a visual, almost tactile link back to the fiery conclusion of the second film.
Yeah, nice touch. It's a subtle yet potent reminder that despite the years and the anthology experiment, the core story picks up right where it left off.
However, not all ideas that were conceived in those rushed 11 days made it from concept to screen.
Oh, I bet.
The original draft, for instance, envisioned a much grander, more destructive finale. It included Sheriff Ben Meeker being killed during Michael's attack on the Meeker house,
Oh, wow.
the massive fire burning the entire house down, and the dramatic rooftop scene being engulfed in roaring flames as Michael pursued Jamie and Rachel.
Talk about a grand, fiery finale. That would have been quite the spectacle.
But these ambitious ideas were, quite fascinatingly, scrapped due to practical budget issues.
The budget. Always the budget.
Instead, the production had to opt for a more contained, almost intimate feel, a shift that some fans even describe as having a slight soap opera flavor.
Chuckles. Yeah. The love triangle.
This included incorporating a love triangle subplot between Rachel, Brady, and Kelly Meeker, the sheriff's daughter. It's a compelling example of how financial constraints can pivot a film's narrative focus from expansive horror set pieces to more character-driven drama.
Even if the primary goal remains delivering terror, it adds a layer of human complication. But does it dilute the horror or make the stakes more personal?
Depends on your perspective as a viewer, I guess.
Yeah.
With the script now in place, crafted under immense pressure and shaped by Akkad's firm vision, the next crucial step was bringing these characters, both the familiar and the brand new, to life, or in Michael Myers' case, to terrifying, relentless unlife.
Chuckles. Right.
Right.
And the undeniable anchor of the original films, and indeed the sole returning actor, was the legendary Donald Pleasence.
Dr. Loomis.
Reprising his iconic role as Dr. Samuel Loomis, Michael Myers' relentless, unyielding psychiatrist. His commitment to the role, even after a significant time jump in the narrative and the character's physical disfigurement from the fire, was absolutely essential for lending credibility and continuity.
He had to be there.
According to director Dwight Little, Pleasence was committed conceptually to returning, indicating his belief in the character's journey. However, he only officially signed on after reading the finished screenplay.
So he wanted to make sure it was good.
A testament to his dedication to ensuring the material was worthy of Loomis's return. What's truly fascinating here is his unwavering loyalty to the character and the franchise, a bond that transcended the absence of other original cast members.
And his dedication certainly paid immense dividends for the film, providing that vital bridge to the beloved originals. But while Loomis returned, the original heroine, Laurie Strode, famously played by Jamie Lee Curtis, did not.
Yeah, a big absence. Despite being approached by the producers, Curtis at that point respectfully declined to reprise her role.
Her career was taking off elsewhere, right?
Exactly. By the mid-1980s, she had successfully diversified her career, moving beyond screen queen status to become a highly sought-after comedic and dramatic actress, starring in major hits like Trading Places and A Fish Called Wanda.
A Fish Called Wanda came out the same year as Halloween 4, didn't it?
It did, coincidentally. So she was, understandably, in a very different phase of her career, exploring new creative avenues.
Her absence, as we discussed, necessitated the introduction of Jamie Lloyd. Laurie's character was, as we mentioned, written out of the story with a brief explanation of her death off-screen.
A key point of divergence for the franchise. Interestingly, it wasn't until Halloween H20, 20 years later, released a decade later, that Jamie Lee Curtis would finally return.
But that film basically ignored 4, 5, and 6, right?
Exactly. It ironically chose to completely ignore the events of what became known as the Thorn trilogy. The storyline Halloween 4 initiated, effectively creating an alternate timeline.
So, with Laurie out, casting the new generation, particularly the young Jamie Lloyd, was paramount to the film's success.
Absolutely critical. For that pivotal role, a then-young Danielle Harris was ultimately cast, making her feature film debut.
She was great.
She had some prior acting experience, having a recurring role on the ABC soap opera One Life to Live. It's a neat piece of trivia that Melissa Joan Hart...
Loesta, Sabrina.
Yeah. Melissa Joan Hart, who would later become a major teen icon, was among the many girls who auditioned for the part.
Wow. But Danielle Harris got it. And this raises an important question for us and for you, the listener. How much did Danielle Harris's genuinely vulnerable, emotionally raw, and incredibly compelling portrayal of Jamie contribute to the film's later appeal?
I think immensely. Her performance truly sold the terror, making you deeply empathetic to her plight, which is critical for a slasher film's emotional impact.
Her raw, believable fear elevated the material significantly.
Her performance is undeniably a standout, bringing a necessary emotional core and a tangible sense of innocence under siege to the new narrative. For Rachel Carruthers, Jamie's foster sister and protector, Ellie Cornell landed the role.
She's good, too.
She had a choice to make, having actually auditioned for both Halloween 4 and A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master.
Oh, interesting choice.
Ultimately, she made the decision to pursue Halloween 4, which, considering the film's later impact, proved to be a significant career move for her. Another actress, Rebecca Schaefer, had also auditioned for Rachel, but had to withdraw due to scheduling conflicts.
And we also saw some other crucial changes in key supporting roles. Beau Starr stepped into the role of the new sheriff, Ben Meeker.
Replacing Charles Cypher's Sheriff Brackett.
Right. And of course, the iconic, silent role of Michael Myers himself was taken on by George P. Wilbur.
Who brought a real physicality to it.
He did. So it was a strategic blend of a beloved returning legend in Donald Pleasence, providing continuity, and a fresh, talented new cast to carry the torch and breathe new life into the terrified residents of Haddonfield.
Okay, so moving on from the casting. The actual production of Halloween 4 faced a whole host of logistical challenges and unexpected hurdles.
Oh yeah, creating some very real scares and dramatic moments behind the scenes that often go unnoticed by the audience.
Indeed. One of the most immediate practical considerations that posed a significant challenge was the filming location itself. Instead of returning to Pasadena, California, which had famously stood in for Haddonfield in the original films.
Sunny Pasadena is Illinois.
Chuckles, yeah. The production shifted nearly 700 miles east to Salt Lake City, Utah.
Why Utah?
This change was primarily driven by the high rising costs associated with filming in California at the time. Filmmakers are always looking for ways to maximize their budget, and Utah offered a more cost-effective solution.
Makes sense. And here's a truly fun and telling detail for a film that's designed to evoke the crisp, autumnal feel of October.
But filmed when?
Principal photography for Halloween 4 began on April 11, 1988, right in the middle of the springtime.
Springtime for Haddonfield, Chuckle.
Exactly, when everything is green and blooming. So to create that authentic, desolate, and spooky autumnal Haddonfield vibe, the resourceful crew had to get incredibly creative.
What did they do?
They were forced to import literal truckloads of dried leaves to scatter across the sets, and even used big squash, which they then meticulously painted orange to serve as pumpkins.
Painted squash! That's brilliant.
Imagine the sheer effort involved in transforming a spring landscape into a convincing Halloween backdrop. It speaks volumes about the dedication of the art department.
It absolutely speaks to the ingenuity and resourcefulness required in independent filmmaking, especially on a tight budget. Director Dwight H. Little also clearly articulated his vision for the film's mood and tone.
What was his aim?
He aimed to capture the mood of the original Halloween and yet take a lot of new chances, striving for a fine line between horror and mystery. He explicitly stated it would not be an axe-in-the-forehead kind of movie initially.
Interesting, given what happened later.
Yeah. Indicating a desire to lean more into suspense, psychological dread, and atmospheric tension, rather than overt, gratuitous gore. Producer Paul Freeman echoed this sentiment regarding humor, noting that any levity would be situational, humor that rises out of the film's situations and quickly turns back into terror.
Keeping it scary. And for the man under the infamous mask, George P. Wilbur, who embodied Michael Myers, he took specific physical steps to ensure the portrayal was just right.
Making Michael feel truly imposing.
Yeah. He strategically wore hockey pads under the costume to make himself look more physically imposing, really emphasizing Michael's formidable, almost superhuman presence, adding bulk to his frame.
Smart.
Additionally, he was often filmed in pieces, meaning in mirror reflections, through doorways, or deliberately off-center. This technique was used to create a perpetual sense of unease and ensure the audience never had a full, encompassing, comfortable view of him.
Effectively keeping the mystery and dread surrounding the shape alive and potent, always lurking.
Exactly. Beyond the creative choices and visual trickery, the production also had its share of genuine human costs, showcasing the physically demanding and sometimes dangerous nature of filmmaking, particularly in the horror genre.
Oh yeah, horror shoots can be tough. There are several anecdotes of on-set injuries and difficulties. For instance, in a rather terrifying incident, gaffer Garland Wild accidentally slit his wrists when he dropped a heavy light during a scene.
Oh my God.
Requiring immediate medical attention and halting production for a brief but alarming period.
And Ellie Cornell, playing Rachel, suffered a nasty injury herself during one of the film's more memorable chase sequences.
The rooftop scene.
Yeah. While filming the intense rooftop scene where Michael is pursuing them, she inadvertently cut her stomach open on a large exposed nail while sliding down the roof.
Ouch.
What's truly incredible and a testament to her professionalism is that she continued filming the scene despite losing a sizable amount of blood.
Wow. Dedication.
Showcasing a real dedication to her craft and to getting the shot, even through pain. It's a chilling reminder of the physical risks actors sometimes take.
There was also a rather notable and amusing logistical hiccup involving Donald Pleasance.
What happened with Loomis?
During many of the late-night outdoor scenes, the weather in Salt Lake City in April was quite cold. Unbeknownst to the crew, Pleasance, in an effort to stay warm, decided to wear a hat under his wig.
Chuckles. A hat under the wig.
Yep. This went completely unnoticed by the production team during filming and initial dailies. Once the error was finally discovered during a later review, it led to over 6 hours of footage to be reshot with Pleasance hat-free.
Oh, that's costly.
A significant financial and time drain on an already tight production schedule. Speaking of which, both Ellie Cornell and Danielle Harris were required to be on set for a grueling 36 out of the 41 total shooting days.
That's an incredibly intense schedule for anyone, but especially for a young child like Danielle Harris.
Exactly, and on that poignant note, it's really heartwarming and speaks to the professionalism of the set to hear about the deliberate efforts the cast and crew made to protect Danielle Harris from being too scared by the horrific proceedings.
That's good to hear.
George P. Wilbur, the actor playing Michael Myers, would regularly remove his terrifying mask in front of her between takes. He would often speak to her and remind her that it was just a movie and he was not going to hurt her.
Oh, that's sweet.
A comforting gesture designed to ensure she understood the difference between the character and the actor. This provides such a tender, human element to the production of a film designed to terrify.
Highlighting the care taken with the youngest cast member, it truly does add a layer of humanity to a genre often seen as purely about fear.
Yeah. And speaking of the mask, it actually became its own source of significant behind-the-scenes drama.
The mask is always drama in Halloween sequels, isn't it?
Yeah. Tuckles. Seems like it. Impacting the film's visual continuity in ways that still spark fan discussions today. The original, customized 1975 Captain Kirk mask, famously used in the previous films, was simply unavailable for Halloween 4.
Couldn't get it.
Apparently not. This immediately presented a major challenge, as the mask is arguably as iconic as Michael Myers himself. So a new mask was hurriedly purchased from a local costume shop.
Just off the shelf.
Seems like it. They filmed the crucial school scene with this new mask, but upon reviewing the dailies, the producers intensely disliked how it looked, finding it unconvincing and lacking the menacing quality of the original.
So what do they do?
Well, in a frantic attempt to rectify this, they tried to customize that mask, but it still didn't live up to the original, and they felt it looked too old or perhaps too worn.
So they needed another mask.
This led to yet another new mask being sourced and used, with some scenes even having to be reshot to incorporate it. But then came the infamous blonde mask mistake.
Oh, yes, the blonde hair.
A detail eagle-eyed fans instantly spotted and continue to talk about. In the climactic scene where Loomis is thrown through a glass door as Michael comes up behind him, there's a fleeting moment where you can clearly see Michael's unaltered face and bizarrely blonde hair under the mask.
How did that happen?
It was glaring, albeit momentary, error. According to director Dwight Little, this continuity gaffe stemmed from a tired crew member grabbing an incorrect mask from the prop area during the rushed pace of filming.
Just grabbed the wrong one.
Seems so. What's truly fascinating here, and often a common element in tight film productions, is how such a visible, continuity-breaking error made it into the final cut of a major horror film simply because, as Little confirmed, they lacked the time and resources in post-production to go back and fix it.
Just had to leave it in. Wow. It's a snapshot of the realities of filmmaking under pressure, where sometimes a small oversight can become a permanent, notorious part of a film's legacy.
It's absolutely a testament to the chaotic, relentless nature of film production schedules, where even major visual errors can slip through the cracks. And after all that, there was a final significant post-production decision that altered the film's tone considerably.
What was that?
After viewing the initial rough cut, director Dwight H. Little and producer Mustafa Akkad mutually decided that the film's violence, despite their earlier intentions of focusing on suspense, was ultimately too soft.
Too soft for an 80s slasher audience.
Exactly, especially given the slasher boom of the late 80s. So an extra day of blood filming was swiftly initiated.
A blood day.
And special effects makeup artist John Carl Buechler, renowned for his gruesome work on films like Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, was brought in specifically to enhance the gore.
He knew gore.
Oh yeah, he was responsible for creating some of the more graphic and memorable kills we see in the final cut, like the chilling thumb in the forehead impalement.
Ugh, that one.
And the brutal neck twisting of the redneck character. It was a clear, deliberate move to amp up the gore factor and ensure the film delivered the visceral frights audiences expected from the returning shape.
A late-game pivot to meet expectations. From the unsettling visuals and the meticulous recreation of Haddonfield to the very sound of terror, Halloween 4 also had to reestablish its auditory identity.
Right, the music. And stepping into that crucial role was Alan Howarth, a composer who had a deep, established connection to the franchise's sonic landscape.
He worked with Carpenter before, right?
Yes, Howarth was perfectly positioned for this, having previously assisted John Carpenter on the iconic scores for both Halloween the 2nd and Halloween the 3rd. He understood the very DNA of the Halloween sound.
That main theme. Chills.
Exactly. For Halloween 4, he gained approval from director Dwight H. Little to create a new score that deliberately referenced the originals but with a synthesizer twist.
So abate the sound but keep the core.
Precisely. This approach allowed him to maintain that instantly recognizable, unsettling piano theme and its signature mood, while simultaneously injecting his own contemporary electronic soundscapes, giving the score a fresh yet familiar feel that resonated with both longtime fans and new audiences.
And he certainly delivered on that promise, crafting a score that not only paid homage but also introduced its own chilling character.
Yeah, that's a great score.
The score features several new, iconic tracks that quickly became part of the enduring Halloween experience. Tracks like the foreboding Jamie's Nightmare, the relentless Return of the Shape, and the tense police station sequence.
Those cues really work.
The soundtrack was released shortly after the film's theatrical debut on September 28, 1988, making it available on all the popular formats of the time. Compact disc, LP vinyl record, and even the ubiquitous cassette tape.
Gotta have a cassette.
Chuckles, allowing fans to take home the film's overall atmospheric return to terror. It really cemented the film's sonic identity.
Okay, so after all the tumultuous behind-the-scenes drama, the unbelievably rushed script, the infamous mask controversies, and the post-production decision to ramp up the gore.
Quite a journey.
Halloween 4. The return of Michael Myers finally saw the light of day, and its release and subsequent reception offer a truly fascinating, almost contradictory tale of two viewings.
So?
Commercially, the film was an undeniable immediate success right out of the gate. It opened in 1,679 theaters on October 21st, 1988, strategically timed for the Halloween season.
Perfect timing.
And impressively grossed a robust $6,831,250 in its opening weekend, instantly securing the coveted #1 spot at the box office.
#1, people wanted Michael back.
They really did. Even more tellingly, it held that top spot for its entire second weekend, demonstrating significant and sustained audience interest. The total domestic gross for Halloween 4 was an impressive $17.8 million against a modest budget of just $5 million.
Wow, that's a huge return.
Ultimately selling approximately 4.3 million tickets during its initial theatrical run. This raises a crucial question, one that often plays out in genre cinema. Why did it do so remarkably well commercially, achieving such widespread popularity, despite what would become a largely negative initial critical reaction?
The critic-audience divide strikes again.
This commercial success, despite critical panning, highlights a fascinating disconnect often seen in genre films. While critics might prioritize narrative complexity or artistic merit, audiences, particularly in horror, often seek the primal thrills, the comforting return of beloved characters, or pure escapism.
And Halloween 4 delivered Michael.
It proved that a strong, almost nostalgic character connection could indeed override critical consensus and even a previous film's artistic misstep. The audience simply wanted their boogeyman back, and they showed up in droves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The audience had spoken loudly with their wallets. They clearly wanted Michael Myers back, period, regardless of what the professional critics thought. And speaking of those critics, the initial reception for Halloween 4 was, as you alluded to, overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah, they weren't kind.
On Rotten Tomatoes, it currently holds a pretty low 39% positive rating, and on Metacritic, it fared even worse with a score of 34 out of 100, both indicators of generally unfavorable reviews from a critical standpoint.
Ouch. It seemed the professional film world was largely unimpressed by Michael's comeback. Critics really took it to task, often comparing it unfavorably to the original.
Understandable, but maybe unfair.
While Karen James of the New York Times, for example, sharply criticized the film for abandoning the strengths that made the original so effective, stating that suspense and psychological horror have given way to superhuman strength and resilience, implying a shift towards less nuanced, more overt slasher tropes.
So, more brute force, less suspense.
That was her take. Variety, a major industry trade, dismissed it rather bluntly as a no-frills, workmanlike picture, suggesting it was competent but uninspired.
Workmanlike. Fate praise indeed.
And some critics didn't pull any punches at all. Richard Harrington of the Washington Post didn't mince words, labeling it very much the cheap knockoff of its prototype, but not half as visceral.
Cheap knockoff. Harsh.
Kim Newman for Empire went even further, delivering a scathing verdict, declaring it stupid, unscary, and plotting, and in a later review piled on, calling it unimaginative, uninspiring, predictable, and dumb.
Yikes. At the time, it seemed like critics largely saw it as a tired retread, unable to live up to the original's groundbreaking legacy.
A symptom of a genre that many felt was running out of steam. However, what's truly remarkable, and a common trajectory for many genre films initially dismissed by mainstream critics, is how over 2 decades after its release, Halloween 4 has experienced a significant, almost dramatic shift in perception.
The reappraisal phase.
Exactly. It developed a strong cult following through home video and television airings, and has received numerous positive reappraisals from horror fans and genre publications alike.
This kind of reevaluation is a fascinating aspect of film history, where time and context can entirely change a film's standing.
It really is.
And these reappraisals aren't just whispers among fans. They come from some prominent horror-centric websites and publications that truly speak to the genre's pulse. JoBlo.com, for instance, offered high praise, calling it tight, has good murders, and a kick-my-butt ending.
Kicked my butt ending?
Chuckles. Going so far as to declare it my favorite Halloween next to the first one, which is an astonishing compliment given the original's untouchable status.
That's high praise. IGN, another major online presence, declared it nothing less than the second best film in the entire series.
Second best. Wow.
Dread Central stated unequivocally that it's a strong sequel horror film and Halloween movie, showcasing its multifaceted appeal. And DVD Talk lauded it as one of the best slashers from the late 1980s, standing out in an era when the subgenre was in steep decline.
Recognizing its quality within its specific historical context.
Precisely. This profound shift in critical and fan perception is truly significant, and director Dwight H. Little himself has reflected on it with a certain amount of vindication. He acknowledged the initial poor critical reception, but he also consistently noted its undeniable commercial success upon release and how people really love it now.
After years of reissues and TV showings.
Yeah, after years of reissues, repeated viewings on television, and the burgeoning of online fan communities. If we connect this to the bigger picture of film appreciation, it speaks volumes about how audience and critical perspectives can evolve over time, especially for genre films.
What might be dismissed initially.
Exactly. What might be dismissed as formulaic or flawed in its initial cultural context can, with the benefit of hindsight or renewed appreciation for genre conventions, be recognized for its unique strengths, its effective scares, its impact on a beloved franchise, or simply for delivering exactly what its core audience desired.
It's a powerful lesson in film longevity and the enduring power of fan loyalty.
It truly is.
A powerful lesson in how films can find their rightful place, sometimes years after their initial debut. And the life of Halloween 4 certainly didn't end with its theatrical run.
Nope. Like any good, enduring horror film, it continued to permeate culture long after its initial release, finding new audiences, particularly through home media.
Home video was huge for cult films.
Absolutely. And even in one unexpected instance, inspiring artists in profoundly unique ways.
Let's talk home media first.
You're absolutely right. It embarked on a robust home media journey, which is utterly crucial for cult films to not only survive, but truly find and solidify their audience. It was first released on VHS in May 1989, primarily as a rental title.
Friday night renter staple.
Chuckles.
Yeah.
Allowing countless horror fans to experience Michael's return in their living rooms. It then became available for sell-through in October 1989, strategically coinciding with the theatrical release of Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Smart marketing. Buy 4, go see 5.
Cleverly building anticipation for the next installment.
And for devoted fans, subsequent DVD and Blu-ray special editions have been an absolute treasure trove, truly enriching the viewing experience.
Oh yeah, the special features.
These releases included a wealth of supplemental features, offering deep dives into the production, such as the Halloween 45 panel from the Return to Haddonfield convention in 2003.
Bringing cast and crew together.
There was also a comprehensive documentary titled Halloween 4 Final Cut, offering an inside look at the film's making. And crucially, multiple audio commentaries featuring key cast and crew members, including Danielle Harris, Ellie Cornell, writer Alan B. McElroy, and director Dwight H. Little.
Those commentaries are gold.
Providing intimate, often humorous insights into the filmmaking process. It even saw inclusion in prestigious limited edition box sets, like the 30th anniversary set of the original film, which came with a highly coveted replica Michael Myers mask.
Nice. These home media releases truly allowed the film to grow its cult status.
Beyond the film itself, a novelization by Nicholas Grabowski was published to tie in with the film's release.
Common practice back then.
The novel closely followed the film's events, though it included a few alterations and expanded scenes, offering a slightly different textual experience.
Always interesting to see the differences.
Interestingly, it was reissued over the years, most notably in 2013, as the Ultimate Authorized Edition, which contained a significant and rather juicy bonus, a never-before-published epilogue that changes the original ending.
Whoa, an alternate ending in the novel.
Yeah, providing an intriguing alternate conclusion for devoted fans, a what-if scenario that has sparked many discussions and deepened the lore.
That's a true deep cut for the most dedicated enthusiasts, isn't it? An alternate ending always sparks conversation.
Definitely. And perhaps one of the most unexpected and truly fascinating examples of Halloween 4's lasting cultural impact involves the world of music.
Music? How so?
The highly original, somewhat reclusive, and immensely talented guitarist Brian Carroll, famously known by his distinct stage persona as Buckethead.
Buckethead, with the KFC bucket.
That's the one. He was actually inspired to create his unique character, complete with his signature white mask and KFC bucket hat, after seeing Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
No way! Buckethead was inspired by Halloween 4.
Apparently so. That's a truly surprising, almost bizarre piece of trivia that shows the film's reach. This raises an important question for all of us. How deeply do horror films, with their potent imagery and psychological themes, permeate our culture, influencing artists in such unexpected and profound ways?
Leading to entirely new forms of creative expression that transcend the screen itself. It's not just entertainment, it's a wellspring for completely unforeseen artistic endeavors. It absolutely speaks to the indelible these narratives and their potent imagery leave on the collective psyche.
Yeah.
The fear, the distinct visual motifs, the specific atmosphere created by films like Halloween 4 clearly aren't just passively consumed. They can fundamentally spark creativity, proving that genre entertainment can be a powerful, almost subconscious wellspring for new artistic ventures in ways no one, certainly not the filmmakers, could have ever predicted.
It's a testament to the power of a compelling character and an unsettling aesthetic. And there you have it. We've taken a comprehensive journey, exploring the tumultuous return of Michael Myers in Halloween 4.
We sure have.
We've traced its origins from the desperate, audience-driven need to bring him back after Halloween the 3rd's divisive misstep, navigated through the challenging and sometimes accidental moments of its production, and ultimately followed its complex journey from initial critical dismissal to beloved cult classic status among horror aficionados.
It's a truly compelling testament to the enduring power of iconic characters and how audiences' perspectives can indeed shift and evolve over time, sometimes decades later, elevating a film's legacy.
It certainly is. And the film, as we've discussed, concludes with a truly chilling suggestion.
Oh yeah, that ending.
That the malevolent evil of Michael Myers might not be confined to him alone, but could be hereditary, a dark infection spreading, seemingly passed down to and manifesting in Jamie Lloyd.
Right, when she puts on the clown mask.
Exactly. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, consider this provocative thought. What does this final unsettling twist fundamentally mean for the very nature of evil itself in the Halloween universe?
Does true, unadulterated evil merely possess an individual, a singular outside force taking hold, or can it truly be passed down?
A horrifying genetic inheritance of terror, waiting, dormant, to manifest in the next generation, a terrifying, unbreakable bloodline.
This ending redefines Michael Myers' enduring threat, transforming him from a singular, unstoppable force into something far more insidious. A potential legacy of unholy horror.
A recurring nightmare woven into the very fabric of a family. Think about that for a while.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Halloween 4. We hope you're a little more well-informed and perhaps just a little more unsettled than when we began.